Welcome to Slash Forward. In this episode, we're going to attempt to solve a mysterious story filled with intrigue and revenge. The 1985 slasher, The Nail Gun Massacre. Let's get to it. We open immediately on what appears to be an elder group of mad lads engaged in some construction site shenanigans, but the situation unfolds quickly to reveal a brutal and disgusting sexual assault. We then waste no time getting to the consequences as we swoop in on a Hilljack homestead, where Leroy's yelling at his old lady about the absence of his shirt. We see what initially appears to be some sort of elite paintballer taking a bafflingly close sneaking route around Mary Sue, but still managing to avoid detection. She's revealed to be some sort of psychotic roofer with a nail gun, and pounds a couple of rounds into this hairy slab despite his protestations. Mary Sue comes upon the gruesome scene and is absolutely fit to be tied, fleeing into the woods, baby on hip. We're then orally assaulted with the playful sounds of afternoon lovemaking. Whatever those are, but our brawny beaver has to put his lady on ice, nearly missing a scheduled appointment to help his compatriot cut some wood in the forest. He heads to the worksite, unwilling to be deemed derelict in his obligations. These two stout working men have a casual chit-chat about their friend who was killed not far from here. Then a familiar figure rolls up and begins stalking her way into the woods, biding her time. When Gil splits off to take a leak, he leaves himself vulnerable to pithy one-liners.
You just pissed me off.
And he gets his testicles pinned to his leg, like his knackers are the prized specimen in an entomological collection. Then Mark takes a couple of shots as well, cutting off his hand in the process. The sheriff shows up under suspicion that men of working age may be lazing about, and he runs the plates, which come back as murder. The doc is called in for some inspecting, and he declares the men unrecoverable. In the course of figuring, he makes two definitive observations. All three victims so far were found on Old Lady Bailey's property, and denim jackets are bitchin'. Meanwhile, we see a familiar vehicle drive by a surly hitchhiker who makes a tremendous series of mistakes. This results in him being inundated with about 5 one-liners, defeating the purpose, before finally taking a nail to the upper tricep. A perfect kill shot. But the authorities are busy cleaning up bodies all over town as they find a young woman just outside CJ's. The doc tries to complete his examination while also pretending he hasn't creamed his pants, and CJ presses him for more info on what caused all of her mysterious puncture wounds.
Puncture wounds inflicted by...
But there's no time to finish sentences when murder's afoot. The next day, a couple of boys occupying Old Lady Bailey's house are getting supplies from the lumber yard, and Linda gets absolutely pissed that they forgot their receipt. I mean, have you ever? And then a couple of road boys roll up looking for an honest day's wages, and they're directed to Old Lady Bailey's property where there's construction work to be done. They're thankful for the info, but Bubba's absolutely pissed about that. They find the site inactive, so they wait, and since it's Thursday, they whip out their picnic accoutrement and partake in a sensual cracker-based lunch. These two randy beasts steal away to rub up against a tree trunk like a couple of horny bears. John gets nailed in the back of the head, and, in fairness, he tries to keep going, but he peters out right when it matters most. In the killer's quest for revenge against any and all construction workers, she takes out the rest, even though they haven't even built anything yet. We then transition hard into the residence of the Bailey estate, leading the sheriff and the doc to the bodies, so they take a look and do some stuff. Then we move on to some good old boys having a classic nail gun fight at the worksite. It's all fun and games until Red steps on a rake, and also when they get murdered. Here we get confirmation that they're being killed for their involvement in Linda's gang rape, something that Red attempts to apologize for only after taking a nail to the face. But she is uncaring. Then we get this doucher pulling up to the soda shop with his date, forgetting that it employs one of his prior conquests, which leads to an awkward situation. Despite all this, things go well enough to earn the privilege of insertion, and they both become geometry experts in the process of trying to work it out in his two-seater. However, the fun is brought to an end when he's forced to assume the position, and they both suffer a deadly fate. The next day, we see what may be a foreman or a boss figure pondering all the murders that are connected to his construction site. Unfortunately, before piecing together the puzzle, he gets bushwhacked, and his lady comes out disappointed to find they're having fried pork belly for lunch. Back in town, the doc's hard at work computing, since his PhD is actually in computer science, not medicine, but he's finding it quite stressful. At his wit's end, he calls in a favor from his specialist friend, offering some info and requesting a profile. They have to wait on that while gathering some additional evidence.
Is there anyone you can think of that might have a reason to kill your father?
Wait, what? I thought he was her daddy, not her father. This is where the sheriff puts together that the victims are all connected to Linda, making her a suspect. The doc is an advocate for Linda, though, and he can't get on board with this hypothesis. Unsettled by these implications, the doc hops into his V6 Camaro and very nearly peels out as he drives toward Linda's trailer. She denies involvement, but confirms Bubba's gone. So they go to where they know he is. somehow, and they're soon on his tail, so he takes off like a darn jackrabbit. But he's not getting away easy when you got 155 rear-wheel horses. They have a moderate speed chase that ends on the side of a gravel mound, converting to a foot chase that ends in an accidental but predictable fall. The helmet is removed to reveal 'twas Bubba all along. Oh, and the sheriff's here, ruminating.
Is it? Is it over?
Yes, it most certainly is. And that was The Nail Gun Massacre, a classic in entertainingly bad cinema, blessed with a threadbare plot and sound mixing evocative of your worst nightmares. I don't remember what I paid for this movie, but it came with a tremendous cost. If you enjoyed the video, I'd love for you to become a part of the channel by subscribing. Thanks for watching.